Alright, we are recording.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Fable, and today I'll be playing Antler. And with me is the wonderful, the talented, my good friend.
Hi, I'm Owl, and I'm gonna be playing Kaito. And Kaito is he's from Ghibli, and he's also Umi's uh sort of older brother type friend support unit. And Umi has been missing for a while, and Kaito got a letter, like basically Kaito got like a, I'm assuming, like, I say it's a letter, but it was probably like a fucking a bottle with like uh
Message in a bottle.
yeah, and it was in the ocean. It washed up on the beach while he was fishing, and it was just like, I'm alive, Umi, the end. And he was just like, what the fuck?
I'm hanging out here at a little corner, which is on the other side of the continent from Ghibli.
Yeah, and he's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Conveniently, though, the little corner just got finished installing a teleportation circle, so it's actually not. So, thank God you don't have to go across or around the entire continent.
Yeah, it's a pain. So now Kaito has been he's been traveling, uh, just like he's got like a backpack, and he went through the little corner transportation circle because it's the easiest way to get around, and now he's just been sort of like basically wandering and thinking, all right, I gotta focus. I'm shifting into find little sibling mode.
Hmm. Honestly, Kaido, if you just ask around, because plenty of the dock workers actually already know of Umi, and they all and yeah, they know Umi by now, and they know that Umi's been staying with their mayor, Antler, up at the old castle.
Yeah, so I imagine that Kaito just he gets out of there, and then he asks the nearest person, "Hey, have you seen a small child with wild hair?
Uh,
Does
which
it talk much or emote?"
Oh, okay. Had to ask because there's more than one. Yeah, you're talking about yay high dark hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Umi, right?
Yeah, her name's Umi.
Yeah. Little rascal likes to come by the docks now and again to talk to the fishermen. Haven't seen him in a minute though. Though makes sense though they haven't been allowed in the ocean since they got their leg banged up, but they've been staying up. They've been staying up with their.
Kaito, his inner worry meter going up by like 5 points.
Yeah, the person you're talking to sees this and goes, "Oh no, they're fine, everything." But I heard they've been staying up with Antler at the ruined old castle. Why, you a friend of theirs?
Oh, definitely.
All
I mean,
right.
I've known Umi since Umi was in uh just and he gestures to like the height of his knee.
Oh wow, I'm surprised you. If that's the case, surprised you didn't know about it.
No, Umi's a wandering type.
Hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that, but once it's been about 6 months or so, and I get like a mysterious like letter, I'm like, at least I got contacted.
Hmm.
That's pretty good. But like,
Hey,
I,
speaking of mystery, and you see this. I think it's a dock worker that you chose to ask. Actually leans in kind of conspiratorially. It's just like, you got any idea what's up with the shark lady? We've been having bets going around, but we haven't really decided what her deal is just yet. We know she's related to the kid.
Shark Lady.
Yeah, big ladies got a shark tail.
Are you talking about Lucille?
Baby, I didn't quite catch her name, but just a week ago she threw the mayor into the ocean. So we weren't sure if that was a
That
thing that was
that
going
sounds
on.
like her. Listen, if Umi is injured, and Lucille found out, chances are, yeah, she threw him into the ocean.
Okay. Hmm.
And I'm like,
Are they exes
just
or something?
no, it's just Umi is a good child,
Oh no, yeah.
and anyone who lets Umi get hurt is on our list.
Ha! You know what? I don't know who you are, but I like you. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Kaito. I run a little shop back in Ghibli.
Kaido. Oh, from Ghibli. Nice.
Yeah,
My
that's
this conversation I feel is gonna go on for a bit.
yeah, and it's like, basically they continue shooting the shit, and
Yeah.
like let's just say they continue talking, and then Kaito is just like, oh crap, hold on,
Hmm?
I almost forgot why I was at while I was talking to you. I was just having a good time. Where is your mayor?
Oh, oh. Here's the thing. He's kind of on vacation. He's kind of on vacation at the moment. There was a whole mind flayer debacle a couple weeks earlier.
Okay. Where does he live?
Right, right. You're gonna okay. You're gonna go down the main street there, then take a right, and then just go straight on up the hill path, and just it's gotta be about 30-minute walk up the hill. You'll see the castle.
All right, thanks. And he passes the dude a couple of coins, just as a thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Don't get killed by the monkeys.
Oh, by the way, you where can I buy like fresh fish?
Just here down at the docks. Right over there to the left.
All right, thank you.
Yep,
And he then disappears into the fish stall. Comes out with a truly enormous fish,
makes sense.
a big fucking fish.
Yep. They got some big fish down at the docks.
Yep. And then he continue. He's also got like a little sack of like cooking materials that he has. Like he had the basics, but then he bought the fresh stuff. And he is now walking down the street and looking for, in the man's words, a large, somewhat ominous castle.
Not as ominous as because I imagine Ubi has talked to you about the Antler King before, I think, or mentioned
Yeah,
in
but
passing.
also, old lady scary beyond all reason.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Just
Kind
that type of deal where it's like it looks like it was haunted at one point, but now there's leaves and shit growing on it.
yeah. I mean, you eventually do see. Again, it's a 30-minute walk up the hill path, over a bridge, uh, and eventually you see. And yeah, it definitely looks like it was haunted at some point. But now it looks like it's been plenty renovated and cleaned up. It's lived in. It's lived in now.
Yeah. So the first thing that he does is like he continues up the path, and then he splits off from the path right in front of the house, and he
Mm-hmm.
clears a little section and makes
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's a good place for a bonfire where you won't accidentally set the grass on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then he uses cast bonfire, like create bonfire.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he takes his big fucking fish and he finds a stick and he spears it, and basically he is now roasting this fish over the bonfire.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Probably.
this is the fastest way to find Umi.
Yeah. It's probably a couple minutes in. Uh, until the smell kind of wafts up and into the castle, and someone starts to smell it, and uh, Kaido, you hear suddenly from above you, "Excuse me," and if you look up, you actually see a window about story one story above from where the door is. Uh, a Toon with long black hair and velvety red antlers, looking down at you, looking a bit confused.
Kaito waves and he just says, "Hey!" And then he casts another create bonfire and pulls out a big pot.
Is there a reason you're cooking on my front lawn?
Yes. Oh,
Care.
what? I'm sorry. Did you want more information than that? Is it rude to just sort of do some shit and then give them, like, basically no warning about it, despite the fact that it involves things that you care about?
What?
Anyway, you want some fish?
And his head disappears back into the window, and it takes a few minutes before before the tune comes walking through the front door. Uh, and Antler is still in his vacation clothes, which is just a black skirt, red sweater. Uh, I'm Forgive me. Who are you exactly, and why are you cooking on my lawn?
Kaito is now, like, just, like, pouring vegetables into the pot, and a little bit of cooking oil, and just, like, it's soup time, binge, and uh, then pulls out a ladle and says, "Hey, I'm Kaito. This is my aunt. This is my grandma's recipe, and it is basically one of the only things I know that can generate an umi from within 3 miles in any direction."
Kaito. Ah, I see. Hmm. 3 miles, you said?
Yep.
Hmm.
Also, you might want to take a seat. This is gonna take a while.
Antler just, upon realization, just shakes his head and, uh, I guess finds there's still a couple stones left out
Yeah, pick
from
a rock, any rock.
yeah, Antler just picks a rock that's relatively close and sits down.
Yeah, and he keeps an eye on all the things, and he keeps an eye on the fire, and basically, Kaito's just like, now I heard that. Thank you for one thing for looking after Umi. I appreciate it a lot, and I know Umi can look after herself pretty well, but there was a mind flayer.
Hmm. Believe you me, well, first, I think you mean themself, and secondly, yes, unfortunately, there was a mind flayer incident a few weeks ago.
Oh, what did I say? Oh shoot, sorry. I'm focusing on the pot. Sorry. Yeah, it's them.
Hmm.
I was thinking about Lucille actually, because
Oh, yes.
apparently
Yes.
Lucille threw you into the ocean, and
Yes, yes, she did. We had a talk about a week ago.
oh,
I'm.
amazing.
Hmm,
Love
I'm.
one shark.
I am going to assume informed you about as much as they informed Lucille.
And Kaito reaches into his bag and pulls out the message in a bottle and throws it to Antler.
Yeah, Antler catches it, uncorks it, and looks at the message and just reads it out loud. I am alive. Signed Umi.
And it's in Ruby's
Yeah,
handwriting.
Antler immediately recognizes it as Ruby's handwriting because it's atrocious.
Yeah, and Kaito's like, all right, I only know how to read this because, well, I have a lot of experience reading order slips written by people who have not written in years,
Mm.
or at least it seems that way. I'm from a small town. Some people can't read and write like at a very high level, and
Understandable.
yeah, I usually can figure things out pretty good. However, Umi, they can't write. So I received a message in a bottle from Umi, who cannot write, saying nothing but "I am alive."
Mm.
And then I come into town and I ask because, like, I'm a nice guy, you know. I care. I can't just let Umi. I can't let them just, you know, get hurt and nobody like comes looking. So I come into town and oh my gosh, they've broken their leg. There was a mind flayer?
Hmm. Well, the leg was from an incident with a lone orca.
There were two incidents?
It is better I start from the beginning.
No, no, no. Just you let a child. Oh my god. Like
Will you allow me to explain?
I sure. Sure. But if it's not good, I'm going to hit you with my ladle.
That's fi- that is fine. I imagine you'll hit me either way, whether it is a good explanation or not. In
Uh,
concerns to their leg, Umi had wanted to show me the ocean, so we went for more or less a walk. Well, I walked, they swam. Unfortunately, during that time, we ran into a lone orca that seemed to be starving.
all right. That sounds like Umi.
Hmm. Unfortunately, if it's any comfort, the leg was the worst of the damage received from that incident. As for
I
the mind flare incident, I don't think they really got hurt during that.
and you see the anger bleed out of Kaito's like whole position, and you see that he's just got like relief on his face, and he just like, okay, all right, okay, just the orca thing. I understand. Orcas are very family based, and they can be really territorial, and usually Umi knows better than to go around and bother one, but they must have had a really good reason. So,
I think it was mostly wrong place, wrong time.
all right, okay, all right. Sorry, I'm not usually like hot blooded. I just when someone I know is in danger, I get a little.
Antler just waves a hand, unbothered. He has not seemed bothered by your behavior or your reactions at all through this.
Yeah. And Kaito then looks over at the fish and then like takes a little pick and tests the flesh, just like pulls it and looks at the inside and it's just like, all right, that's about done. And he had already removed like all of the insides and crud. So and he took the guts and stuff and he also like just kind of he put them in like a separate bowl and now he is just like if you have any like cats or anything the guts are like the cats around usually what I'll do is I'll put them outside and we get a lot of stray cats and they love it but
I've no,
uh
I do not have any stray cats here that I know of, but I do have one creature in the castle I think would enjoy.
all right I'm not judging
Hmm.
if you want to eat your guts here
What? No. How
and
much? How
you
much has?
think he's being serious for half a second and then you look at you see the look on his face which is just kind of smug anime boy JPEG.
Hmm. Antler makes no comment, and
Yeah,
simply,
and then he says, I'm messing with you, just and
no,
he
no.
said
I figured as much.
and then he starts cutting up the fish and he's like oh by the way you should try this and he cuts off like a sliver of it's still hot and steamy and salted and good and like and he passes it to Antler with his bare hands.
Are his hands clean?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Antler just takes it. Antler's been watching him cut up the fish, by the way.
Yeah, he finishes like cutting the cooked chunks into like chunks, and then he puts them in the pot, and then he pulls out like a skein. You think it's probably water, but like then he pops the lid, and you realize that it's from Little Corner, and it's a skein of goat milk.
Hmm.
He's like, usually I would use cow milk, but I haven't seen any cows.
Hmm. And he just takes a
Uh,
bite of the fish that was given to him.
it's really good. Like this tastes like when you sit on the beach during the perfect temperature summer day, but if it was a fish.
Hmm. Antler's not too pleasantly surprised, but not like too surprised because Ubi has, while usually very excitedly and very fast signing, Ubi has talked about Kaido.
Uh, yeah, and Kaido's like, "Oh, sorry, here," and then he reaches into his bag and he pulls out like a roll, like a dinner roll, like the type of like it's a round bread bun, and he says, you can wipe your hands on that and then eat it. Don't want to waste any of the juice."
Hmm. And I'm gonna roll insight now.
And he goes back to stirring the pot.
It's a 15. Antler was expecting maybe a bit more hostility from this guy.
And you just see that aside from the initial burn of like tumultuous like being when you're caught in a storm or whatever, and then it passes over quickly. Like you were almost thrown from the boat initially, but then it calmed down, and now it's really clear out.
Hmm.
His moods like come and go, but for the most part, he's a very calm and collected person. He only gets weird when someone is hurting those he loves.
Fair enough. Hmm. Well, I can see why Umi only has good things to say about you.
It can get a little. I have only good things to say about Umi. The only thing I would say that probably isn't necessarily 100% good is that uh, Umi cannot read or write, so it's very hard to keep an ear to the ground for them.
Hmm. Might be some comfort to you then. Ruby has been trying to teach them common.
Who's Ruby?
She's the other child who is staying here.
You have a kid?
Uh, uh, Umi likely would have introduced them as. And he actually makes the sign for Fire Pine Cone, which is Ruby's name sign.
Oh, and then Kaito, like his eyes like light up, and he immediately points and like gestures with his hands, like yeah, and then he makes the sign for like fire pine cone explode good.
And Antler just nods. Yeah, yes, that would be Ruby.
Yeah. Um. Wait. Are you? And then he makes a different sign, which is a combination sign for deer and grouchy,
Mm,
and the letter A.
possibly. Most. That does sound like me.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yeah. So you're the one who's you're Ruby's lighthouse, right?
Her what?
Lighthouse. Me and Umi came up with that. Basically, Umi's the type who does their own thing. Umi wanders out to the ocean, uh, comes back, but like no matter what, they always need some place to come back to, you know?
Hmm, I do.
And I'm not the type to be in the ocean like all the time, and I'm a little more stable than that. I'm an adult. I've made the choice to be an adult and be a reliable member of society, and that means that I can't always go off and do whatever I like, you know? But it does mean that I'm always there if Umi heads out to the ocean and needs someone to remind them to come back. All they got to do is look inland and they'll see my shop. They'll see me. I'll be there.
Hmm. Antler nods. He's probably finished up the bit of fish that he was given. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's a big thing to be a kid's lighthouse, and he gives him a punch on the shoulder. It's not like being a parent or anything, because like my grandma wasn't exactly my lighthouse, because it's a different sort of term, but it just means that you're there, and you know.
Hmm. Antler says nothing, but he does look at where you just punched him in the arm, then looks at you.
Oh, and Kaito's just like, oh, sorry. Do you have a touch thing? Sorry.
No, no, it's fine. I am I am adjusting to the whole touching thing, so it's fine.
What?
Hmm? What?
How are you adjusting? Are you? Do you just not like? Is it a personality thing? Could you? I don't quite get it. Maybe city folk are just like this. And he shrugs and he continues stirring the pot.
Antler looks like he's thinking about explaining, but then he thinks otherwise. It just kind of probably looks out towards the because Rundal's built into a cliffside that's already has it's already on a hill above Little Corner, so you can actually get a good view of the get a good view of the forest and the town and probably a bit of the ocean.
I mean, it's not home, but this place sure is nice.
Hmm. I don't suppose you are going to threaten me as Lucilla had.
Oh no. Mostly because I can see Umi from the window over here.
Antler looks over.
Yeah, I see you.
Hmm.
Maybe come back and tell me things instead of having your friend write a really hard to read message. Like, is this an E or an A?
Yeah, for people at home, Ruby and Umi are currently at one of the windows and have just ducked down out of sight. And Antler just kind of sees this and shakes his head a little bit.
And Kaito turns around and does the little sort of contented puff and just says, just looks over at Antler and says, Umi is the best. I know you haven't known them for that long, but
No.
they're always something that makes me smile.
Hmm.
Even when they're dripping water all over my floor.
Antler just nods in agreement. I cannot argue with that.
Yeah. And then he turns away from the window and he stands in front of his hands. And Kaito then starts signing. And what he signs is, if Umi gets hurt again, you call me with emphasis.
And Antler just nods and signs back, of course.
And then a continued sign, if you don't, I will find you.
And Antler signs back. Well, it's a good thing you know where I live.
Yeah, and then Kaito grins, and then he makes to like gently slap Antler on the back, like in a friendly like sort of country town way, and then he's like, "Oh right, you're not into you're not into touch," and he just kind of holds his hands up and then goes back to the stew, and sips it, and is like, "Pretty good actually," and he pours a little of it in a little saucer, hands it over to Antler, and says, "Do you think this needs anything?"
Antler will Take a sip. Hmm. What seasoning have you brought?
Alright, and he reaches into his little, he's got a pouch and he's got, all the basics. He's got salt, pepper, he's got basil, he's got, thyme, he's got some fresh stuff that he just pulled from the side of the road.
I think a bit more basil.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and, he takes some of, the basil and sprinkles it in there, and then he stirs and stirs.
Ah, before I forget, because it seemed to please Lucille to know, but might also please you to know that Umi smiled not too long ago.
Do you have pictures?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Omi smiled,
Hmm.
and you didn't get pictures of their angelic face?
I unfortunately do not have a means of taking pictures.
How dare you, sir? You can roll insight if you want. How dare you? I trust you with
14.
my own child, and you can definitely tell that he is joking right now.
And Antler just has a flat expression, but his ear is kind of twitching and maybe a bit of amusement.
And you don't even get a picture of one of the only times I can count on one hand that Umi has smiled. Oh, jail for, he does Antler's sign name, jail for Antler's sign name for 1,000 years.
Oh no, how terrible I feel to have wronged you so.
And there's a crash, and Kaito sits up and is just like, that sounded breakable.
Usually is. Give it a moment.
You know, and then he tries to see. That hits the spot. Do you want to call the gremlins for food or?
Antler will look towards the castle, and Kaito, you see this. You see his antlers physically start to ring a little bit, and you hear like a mix between like a violin string and the sound of like an elk screeching fill the air as Antler calls Umi with deep speech, because that's a thing he can do.
Kaito is also fluent in deep speech.
Yeah, he's literally just Kaito has finished making food. If you want food, I suggest you come out from hiding.
Yeah, this is officially me, like us as the DM saying, "Hey, Avi, Vamp, you want to come in?
Do you want to eat food?
Yeah, you want to come?
Oh my god.
Come on in.
Okay, I guess.
Welcome.
Hello.
Joke's on you. It's now 4 people.
Hello.
I will say for all the listeners that Ruby and Umi have been wrestling below the window this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, the crash was they broke a plant.
Yeah. The moment the smile came up in the conversation, Ruby started teasing Umi.
Oh my god.
They were probably carefully putting away the broken pot in Umi's time or space. It's okay, Antler's not gonna notice that there's a pot missing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Cut to
Don't
later
worry
when
about it.
Cut to later when he notices.
Anyway.
Till then.
It's fine. Look at this.
Where the
Look
fuck
at
is
these
my
two
fungus?
children. Look at these two angelic children coming. Obviously, they wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
So at the mention of food, how long does it take for the children to actually make themselves known?
Oh, not long. Ruby has featherfall.
Not long, Ruby has featherfall.
Okay, but Umi doesn't.
Oh, yeah, she has it prepared today.
Honestly,
So she can cast it on more than one.
oh my god, yes.
I'm just picturing the Howl's Moving Castle, like type deal where like one character can fly and is just carrying the other.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Yep, that's it. D's got it.
The both of them immediately food.
Exactly.
Food.
It's
Mine.
just.
Like I said, this is Umi's favorite fish soup, and can in fact attract them from 3 miles.
Oh,
It's like when you shake the treat bag at a cat.
exactly.
It's like
I mean,
you don't
it's
know where they
working
are
on
until
Ruby
you
too.
shake the bag.
I mean, it's working on Ruby.
Antler just looks at these kids with just a flick of the ear and a raised eyebrow.
Ignore the dirt on Umi's fingers. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not from a broken pot.
Antler,
All right.
They float down to the ground, and then Ruby just gives a playful little wave. Hello there.
Oh hey, and then he signs Fire Pinecone.
Yep, that's me. Hi. Ruby Red.
How you doing?
Are you whatever Umi's name sign for Kaito is, I'm not sure what it is.
I think it was K Cat Whisker.
Oh, that's cute. Oh,
Yeah.
that's real cute.
Because Kaito has a cat.
So
Oh,
it's like K, like it's like the letter K signed like near their cheek, so it's like a whisker.
Yep.
That's really cute.
Kaito
that's
has a
really
shop cat, and Umi knows this fluffy gray monstrosity and absolutely loves its existence.
Uh,
Good.
um,
Good.
So Kaito's just like, all right, before we go any further, and then he opens his arms and looks at Umi.
Umi kind of like walks over and hugs Kaito.
Kaito then does the Ghibli pick up and spin.
Good. Yes.
That's so cute.
That's
Yeah.
real cute.
Yep.
That's
And then
real
immediately he's still holding them, and it's just like, an orca? You know orcas are territorial.
Umi sticks their tongue out.
You know
Fine.
that's dangerous. You said. Oh, come on, no, I'm valid here.
Umi points at Antler, her like meaningfully, and signs couldn't swim away and leave him.
Ruby starts cackling.
You. An orca was about to eat Antler, and that's how you got injured.
The orca was about to eat me, but I stayed with Antler because I didn't want to abandon him in the middle of the ocean.
And Kaito just like he sighs and he rests his forehead against Umi's, and he's just like, okay, you know I trust you, but you are a child.
Umi kind of like puffs their cheeks out a little before signing.
You are a child. Antler is an adult.
Umi kind of looks at Antler and looks at Kaito and goes, "You're smarter than him, though."
And Kaito kind of like, he blushes a little bit and he's like, okay, yeah, maybe, but like, come on, I know that you for sure are at least as smart as I am, and you didn't even like, you can't just. And he's basically he resorts to like signing now. Like, he sets Umi down and goes into full like lecture mode. Like, orcas are dangerous, and you are important. Signed with emphasis. And if anything happened to you, I would fall over and die.
While this conversation is happening, I think Antler has looked over to Ruby and is just like gestured to one of the rocks that's around the food around the food, and I think he's been in the process of just like setting down plates and whatnot.
Yeah.
Ruby is having a kick out of this.
Oh, she
No,
sure is.
it's Umi's turn to be scolded by a parental figure while someone else watches.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And then
Umi,
Umi, I hope you know Ruby's going to tease you about this.
Umi kind of signs at Kaito like, but I got to meet a Kiwi.
all right, can you repeat that last bit?
Oh yeah, it
signs
cut
at-
out.
Umi signs at Kaito, I got to meet the Kiwi.
Cut out again.
They got to meet a
Oh my God.
kiwi.
You mean like the small New Zealand bird?
That's the
They
one.
nod and they make like a little gesture with their hands to indicate how fat the kiwi is. This is very important information.
Okay, yes, that's a very round bird, and I'm glad you're telling me about it. But you could have died.
Umi signed no, and then Umi points at Antler like he was there.
Oh.
That's true. If you're gonna get into trouble, I'd rather have you be using the buddy system, just like we talked about. I'm glad you're listening to me, even if like I know that I can't always be there because I have my own, I have a shop, and I know that sometimes you're left alone for long periods of time, and you know how to do that, and you're perfectly capable. And he kneels down a little bit and just kind of like squishes Umi's cheeks, and it's just like, it's not gonna stop me from worrying.
Umi nods sagely and then
Look at
sighs.
this. Look at this. This is a gray hair.
Umi looks at it and it's
I
just
am
like
26 years of age.
Umi looks at it and it's just like that's lint.
And Kaito says, shh, shh, shh. It's gray hair. It's from my head. Shh, shh.
Ruby, do you want to roll insight on Antler at advantage while this is happening?
Sure. Okay.
Oh god, we killed Abby.
Yeah. God. Ruby, Antler is against his usual nature. Antler is incredibly amused by this conversation that's going on, and you can see he had to suppress a snort when Kaito was saying, "Oh, I've got a white hair at age 26."
And Kaito then he's like, all right, you understand. You're killing your lighthouse. You're killing me. Slowly.
Umi nods, and then Umi signs, I wore your rain boots when I fought the Mind Flayer. Or went to fight it, we didn't fight it.
And Kaito then just says, all right, as long as you know, and you're gonna be careful, right?
Umi nods? Question mark?
All right, you're gonna be careful. You're gonna wear your rain boots. You're going to listen to Mr. Antler. You don't have to like necessarily like obey him or anything, but listening is a good idea.
They kind of like their expression doesn't change, but then they go, but what if they're being boring?
All right, if they're being boring, you have my full permission to kick him in the shin and tell him to say it normal.
They nod.
Ruby starts cackling in the background again.
But you have to at least try to listen.
Oh my god. Don't give the sea child so much power. They nod very agreeably. Yes, they will now kick Antler in the shins if Antler is being too wordy.
Antler is less amused by this now.
And Kaito then nods and plants a kiss on Umi's forehead.
Umi signs, you should meet the Kiwi, the Mind Flayer Kiwi.
Well, of course I want to meet a kiwi. I've never seen a New Zealand bird before. I want to see that. But first, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Good. And Umi's gonna sit next to Ruby.
And then Kaito pulls out a set of wooden bowls and starts gently spooning generous heaps of soup into each one and passes them out. It smells amazing. He pulls more of the rolls that of the one that he gave like Antler. He pulls more of them out of his bag and puts one of them next to each bowl, and they tear apart, and the insides kind of like expand, and they're like fluffy and white, and the smell of bread matches perfectly with this stew somehow.
I am so glad I ate before this, so I am immune to the Ghibli food.
Oh, same.
I am
Oh,
immune to
same.
the Ghibli food
And
imagery.
Kaito slips a spoon into each bowl, and like as he does, like the sort of like viscous roux of the stew kind of like slides like a little bit like gelatin, but like clearly liquid. And he then just says, "All right, bone apple teeth."
God, please. Hey, Bobby, please tell me Ruby took a bite when Kaito said that and then snorted it out again.
I'm tempted to roll for it, but I'm not sure what to roll.
On?
Con.
Con. Yeah, con. Let's do con.
Also, I apologize to people who are now like, New Zealand exists in Inkwell? Whatever the equivalent of New Zealand is exists in Inkwell.
Here is the Kiwi.
Whatever the place that Kiwis come from on this planet is the thing that Kaito referenced. You're getting translations ad hoc, like immediately from our mouths right now.
Antler while eating is debating how to explain to Kaito that the kiwi in question used to be a mind flayer.
Oh, Umi actually mentioned that like a few minutes ago when they talked about the Kiwi. They also mentioned that it was a mind flayer Kiwi.
Yeah, and Kaito is just like, alright, if it's still here, chances are it isn't dangerous. So it should be fine. And he does want to see a bird that round.
Yeah, Umi, like, eventually Umi's gonna, like, hold up this baby Kiwi.
And
Round.
Kaito then starts eating on his own, just like dipping his bread, taking a big bite, tearing, and then sopping the bread. And
They have a
Oh, ow,
good
I have
dinner.
eaten. You can't do this to me again. You can't make me want to eat another dinner.
They have a good lunch.
Yep.
Ruby takes a bite and is immediately just, oh, holy shit, this is good.
Umi actually nudges Ruby a little and it's like, remember the bread that, like, remember the food we made dinner when we first met? The bread's from Kaito.
Oh, neat. And then Ruby is just all grins.
And Kaito goes over to Ruby, and after he's done eating, and then looks at her,
Hello? Hi?
Yep, you're right, Umi. You're right. That's best friend material. He then grins and holds up a hand, and he's just like, "Sup?" Like, high five.
Yeah, Ruby gives him a high five. Sup?
He then stands. Oh, I almost forgot. I want to get this. I want to get this to you before I forget. And he digs through his bag, his backpack, and he pulls out a downy winter jacket.
Jacket.
It is a deep blue. It's puffy, and it can serve equal amounts of use as a pillow, a blanket, a sleeping bag,
Oh my
and
gosh.
an actual like clothing
Oh
item
gosh.
to protect you from the weather.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Umi takes it and like shrugs it on. And how oversized is it, Al?
It's actually only a little oversized. Like there's room to grow, but it fits pretty good.
Oh, okay then.
That's real cute.
But yeah, it definitely goes down to Umi's knees.
Aw.
Antler probably wishing he had a camera right about now.
I don't even know if Antler knows what a camera is.
Yeah. This is a Kodak moment. God, I wish I had a spell from the wizard Kodak.
I cast take a photo.
I cast retain image.
Well, it's a shame I don't have a painter here to mark down this moment.
God, I mean, would Ruby or Umi be able to stand still for that long?
No.
Probably not.
Oh,
No.
no.
The
But,
moment the food is done, they'd either peck off into the woods or the ocean, one of the two.
Kaito's just like, I got this for you because it's getting colder and it's been a while since I heard from you and I got worried and you need a new coat. Your old one is a little ripped up.
Umi tilts their head like, what? No, and I'm gonna. Yeah, they pull a pale blue, like, see-through raincoat from their hammer space, and it is, as Kaito said, like, pretty ripped up. But they hold it up like, no, it's not that bad.
And Kaito then points out, like, all right, and my finger just went through that hole, and that hole's not supposed to be there. That is a tear. This spot doesn't even have any waterproofing left on it.
Umi signs that no waterproofing left on it is an improvement.
And Kaito's just like, yeah, but what about when it's hot and you want to keep the moisture inside?
Okay, he's got them there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
see?
Andrew's been watching this, and I think he looks at some of the holes and just sighs and goes. I think he holds out a hand for the torn up coat. All right, hand it over a moment.
Ruby's actually been reaching into her bag of holding and triumphantly holding up the butter cookie tin.
Wait,
Oh, you were so?
Quick question though. I don't have enough like sewing experience to know, but can you even use a needle and thread to fix up a plastic raincoat?
No, but you
I
can
don't
use
know.
mending.
You
Oh,
can,
yeah.
but it won't fix the leaks. It won't fix the leaks,
Yeah.
but it will close the holes.
But what about
Ah.
mending?
Mending would work as long as the
No.
rips are apparently like there's a certain maximum size for the rips. As long as it's not ripped directly in half, that should be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, Antler's
Just-
gonna ask for the coat.
Also, in answer to the sewing question, no, Ruby can't sew. Will she try anyway? Yes.
I think Umi side eyes Ruby and then hands it to Antler before Ruby can yank it from their hands.
Yep.
Oh, what? Come on.
Yeah, and Antler just goes over. Antler will just inspect some of the tears. It's basically as long as the break or tear is no larger than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, and I
Nice.
imagine he's able to fix up majority damage, because I don't think it. I would like to think that Umi does not have a 1 foot wide tear in their coat.
What was that from? Squid.
How on earth did a squid make this much damage? You know what? Nope.
Big squid.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Me-
Besides, there's an easy way to loophole this. And what he's going to do is just pinch the tear in half and heal one half of it, and then heal the other half.
Alright.
There we go.
I will say though, by the way, when Kaito mentioned the squid, Umi had a slightly like fawn expression. Not exactly like the expression itself doesn't change, it just feels fawn. And they said calamari. Like they're remembering something.
Yep.
details I
Kaito
do.
is just like, by the way, Squid's doing fine.
Antler, at the end of the mending session, will lift up the coat, and it is now has that anime sparkly, almost brand new.
Umi,
Yes.
Umi takes the coat and Umi holds up. And Umi has 2 coats now. Will they wear
Two.
either of these coats? Only time will tell.
Exactly.
We'll have to see.
Will they wear either coat? We just don't know. Oh, and then Kaito, one more time, he returns to his bag, and he digs around, and he's like, I know I brought something. Hold on, and then he pulls out a notebook, and it's got a pretty Ghibli-esque pattern on the front.
Ooh.
And then Kaito hands it to Ruby.
Oh, Ruby is just sitting here.
Yeah, and Kaito says,
I feel like she was in the middle of dejectedly putting the tin back into her bag of holding before the notebook gets handed to her, and she's just,
Kaito says, like, I have the match. If you write in it, it'll show up on the pages in mine. So if there's ever an emergency, you can call me using this. It's a pair of enchanted notebooks.
Oh, okay. It's like sending stones. Like Ruby
Yeah.
just notes as she takes the notebook with very much interest.
And Kaito then pulls out another identical notebook and writes inside of it, and then gently taps the page, and then your notebook kind of, it warms up a little bit.
Ooh. Ruby opens the notebook and looks inside.
And the inside the note says, watch out for Umi.
Aww. Ruby writes a note back, and when Kaito goes to look at it, it says, I will promise.
Smiley face.
Smiley face back.
There we go. And then Kaito folds it up and puts it back in his bag, and then he goes, all right, so now that we've all eaten and we've done some some domestic repairs, does anybody want to, like, Umi and Ruby, does anyone want to show me why, like just like show me the big castle?
Umi stands up and is just like, Kiwi. They're signing Kiwi.
Oh no,
over
Kiwi
and
is
over.
definitely, the Kiwi is our number one priority here. Show us the bird, Antler man.
Very well, since it seems you've all twisted my arm. As he stands up and smooths out his skirt, come with me and I shall show you the bird.
All right, bird.
I
And
feel
he's just, he's acting it up a little bit for the kids right now.
That's very good.
He's a very excellent babysitter, by the way.
I'm gonna roll a D2 real quick.
Oh no.
Okay. Ruby does in fact warn about the trap she has above some of the doors.
Kaito's just like, why did
Bags
you set
of
up traps
flour.
above the doors?
It's just like little bags of flour and pecans, you know? Freaks.
Kaito then just like, all right, hold on, I have an idea. And then he just
Wait.
steps behind Antler and says, this is your house, you should really go first.
No, of course. And as Antler is walking through, he's gonna cast Mage Hand to hold the flour bag in place as he walks through the door. But I'm gonna roll sleight of hand to see if any of you see him do this.
Can I contest
13.
this with perception?
Sure. Ruby, please contest it with perception.
Okay. That's a dirty 20 hit.
It's a 5. It's good.
Okay, so with Antler, they look directly at you like a. It's like an unspoken. You don't let go of the flower bag as I walk through, and they're gonna walk through first.
No, yeah. Antler holds the door open for Kaito and Umi. And Ruby, when you walk through, make a dex save.
No! No!
This is what
12.
you fucking get.
I'm
No.
gonna say no. Hey, Ruby, you get a bag of flour on your head. And you once more get covered in flour. When you look up, Antler's just standing there holding the door open, just smiling down at you.
Ruby's just standing here. Fable, you know what's gonna happen next.
Does he? Do I?
She has gust, and she will use it to blow the flower at all of you. All of you.
Oh, Kaito then just goes, oh man, this is gonna get messy.
Antler
Hold on a
just
second.
shield. Antler just shield.
I should remind like Pecking Ruby that Umi also has gas.
Yeah, Antler just casts shield and gets nothing on him.
Umi
Kaito just leans
passes
over,
gas.
picks up Umi, and then casts Misty Step.
Oh my god.
Okay, old man, you want to play that way? Ruby, covered in flour, is gonna try to tackle you.
Kaito and Umi appear in the
What do you
next
have-
room,
What do you...
and Kaito's just like, so, can I see your room?
That's a tackle. That's gotta have to be a grapple check or something. Or just
Oh,
straight.
yeah.
Just
Like,
roll straight.
Kaido's like, can I see
I'm
your room?
rolling straight.
Umi just- Kaido's just
Well,
like,
I'm also
your
rolling
room,
straight.
and Umi just takes them to a
6,
fountain.
oh no. Antler gets tackled to the ground.
you get tackled.
Ah,
No, it's like,
nope.
Umi just took Kaito to their room, which is just a fountain, and Kaito's like, ooh, nice digs.
Yeah, Kaito and Ubi's just showing Kaito around the castle while Antler and Ruby are having...
I will say when Umi circles back, I think like they're gonna look at Ruby and Antler tussling and kind of like pull at Kaido's jacket to get Kaido's attention.
16. Antler has Ruby in his lap and in a headlock and is wrestling her hair.
No!
This is
Umi
what you
is
get.
asking Kaido if they can use their decanter.
If they can use their what?
Decanter.
And Kaito thinks about it for a second,
no.
Oh no.
and then nods.
Hey, there, Ruby, wanna make a strength save?
Sure.
This is gonna be a straight D20 from this old man.
I'm gonna do it at disadvantage because Ruby's distracted.
That's a little 11. I don't need this
Neither of
advantage.
the meats. You guys hear like,
That's in that one.
while you guys like tussle, you hear the bubbling of water, and like Umi, like you look up and see Umi angling the king.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
indeed.
Looks like everyone's clean.
Just...
Clean and probably just washed down the hallway.
Yeah.
Just a big, like, tsunami just pushed through the castle, and Ruby and
Yeah.
Antler just get washed up in the hallway.
Oh,
Kaito
no,
just-
the floor's just a dough now.
Yup, it's just dough, flour, and
Kaito
water.
looks down at Umi and is like, oh, city people, right?
Umi nods.
Either of us would have swam into that, but they just kind of let it happen.
Umi nods again.
Well, we better go help him out. And he offers a hand to Umi.
Umi takes it.
And they head down the hallway to go help out their new friends. And that is where I would say this is a real good spot
Yeah.
to be like,
I think that's a good
Yeah,
place to
yeah,
end it.
That's a perfect place to end it.
Mhm. Well, thank you, Vampanabi, for indulging us in guest starring.
Finger guns.
Thank you,
thank
Owl,
you so much for
this.
coming in, and Fable, thank you for being so patient.
It's fine. Thank you for a fun FPS. And-
It was so fun.
Yeah, thank you all, audience, for coming in and listening, and we hope to see y'all again next time. And until then,
Yep.
bye!
Have a good time. Bye bye.